This is a key to topic 23, part A, worksheet 4. And in each of the problems, first of all, you are asked to use long division on all these problems. But in particular, you're asked to determine if one polynomial is a factor of another polynomial. And in that case, you need to look at the remainder to determine the answer to that question. So let's look at number one, see how to work this out. So in number one, we have this problem. And so it says, is 2x plus 3 a factor of 2x to the fourth plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6? All right, so we're going to use long division. So remember the process of long division. Your dividend and your divisor must be in descending order. And if there's any missing terms, you need to write it as a zero term. Okay, so our divisor is 2x plus 3. You want to see if that is a factor of this polynomial. And it looks like there are no missing terms, and it's already in descending order. So I have 2x to the fourth plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6. Okay, so remember first divided by first. So 2x to the fourth divided by 2x. So 2x to the fourth divided by 2x is going to be x cubed. So I'm going to put that over the x cubed column. Then whatever you put here, you multiply by every term in your divisor. X cubed times 2x is 2x to the fourth. So if you're doing this correctly, the first terms on each process when you do the division all over again have to be the same. X cubed times 3 is 3x cubed. And then you subtract. 2x to the fourth minus itself is 0, so that always has to be 0. 7x cubed minus 3x cubed is 4x cubed. Then we bring down the next term, plus 4x squared. The degree here is 3, the degree here is 1. You continue the process. 4x cubed divided by 2x is 2x squared. You put 2x squared. Then you take that term you just wrote, multiply by every term in the divisor. 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed. They're supposed to be the same. 2x squared times 3 is 6x squared. All right, so then you subtract. 4x cubed minus itself is 0. That has to cancel out, just like it did here. 4x squared plus, 4x squared minus 6x squared is a negative 2x squared. And then you bring down the next term, minus 7x. Then you do the process all over again. The degree here is 2, the degree here is 1. So negative 2x squared divided by 2x. So negative 2x squared divided by 2x is a negative x. Line them alike terms. Negative x times 2x is negative 2x squared. Negative x times 3 is a negative 3x. And then you subtract. Negative 2x squared minus itself, that's 0. Negative 7x, subtract a negative 3x. So if you're having a little trouble with that, some students do, so you may want to rewrite this little part here. So subtracting a negative 3x or the opposite of a negative 3x is the same thing as adding 3x. So I have a negative 7x plus 3x is a negative 4x. And then you bring down the next term. The degree here is 1. The degree here is 1. I continue on. Negative 4x divided by 2x is a negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. And then you subtract. 4x minus itself is 0. Negative 6 minus itself or subtract itself is 0. So notice the remainder is 0. The remainder is 0. Now remember, if the remainder is 0, what that means is that the divisor is a factor of the dividend. Now the directions does say to explain your answer in a sentence. All right, so you're going to say this, your answer. You're going to say, since the remainder is 0, since the remainder is 0, 2x plus 3 is a factor of 2x to the fourth plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6. All right, And so that's it. So that's number one. Now, before we go on, I just want to just show you that if you were to actually factor um, this out, let me go ahead and bring it down. So if you were to factor this, so let me just show you. So 2x to the fourth plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6. If you factor this, it factors as, let's see, it factors as 2x plus 3 times x minus 1, x plus 1 times x plus 2. All right, so notice that this polynomial has 4 factors. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of them is 2x plus 3. So is 2x plus 3 a factor of this? Yes, because if you were to factor it out, you would get this. All right, but the way you did it, though, was that according to the directions, you want to use long division and you want to use a remainder to determine if the divisor is a factor of the dividend. All right, so that's number one. Okay, now let's look at number two. Number two. All right, so number two, we have, okay, so is 2x minus 1 a factor of this polynomial? All right, so long division. So 2x minus 1 divided into, now I don't have any missing terms. It's already in descending order. So 6x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. All right, now, so 6x cubed divided by 2x. First divided by first. 6x cubed divided by 2x is 3x squared. So it goes here. 3x squared times 2x is 6x cubed. 3x squared times a negative 1 is a negative 3x squared. All right, so now we're going to subtract. All right, now when I subtract, and if you have to rewrite it, you go ahead and rewrite it. But when you subtract, you have 6x cubed minus itself, that's 0. A negative x squared minus a negative 3x squared. So remember that subtracting a negative 3x squared means the same thing as adding 3x squared. So a negative x squared and 3x squared is 2x squared. Bring on the next term. Negative 3x. Do the process over again. Degree here is 2. Degree here is 1. 2x squared divided by 2x is just x. And then you multiply. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 1 is a negative x. And then you subtract. If you're doing this correctly, these always have to add up to be 0. 2x squared minus 2x squared is 0. A negative 3x subtract negative x, or you could say subtracting negative x is adding x. So a negative 3x plus x is a negative 2x. Bring on the next term. All right, and then you do the division all over again because the degree here is 1, the degree here is 1. A negative 2x divided by 2x is a negative 1. Negative 1 times 2x is a negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. And then you subtract. Negative 2x subtract itself is 0. 1 subtract itself is 0. So the remainder is 0. All right, now, so remember what that means. If the remainder is 0 in terms of our question, that means that the divisor is a factor of the dividend. So you're going to say this. So you're going to say the answer, since the remainder is 0. Since the remainder is 0, the, let me write it like this, 2x minus 1 is a factor of 6x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. All right, so since the remainder is 0, this is a factor of this. All right, now, just to show you in number 2, if you were to actually factor this out, let's see, let me go ahead and write number 2. So you have 6x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. So over the rational numbers, it factors as 2x minus 1 times 3x squared plus x minus 1. So I cannot factor this quadratic any further over the rational numbers. But do notice, though, that 2x minus 1 is a factor of this. You see it's listed as a factor. This times this equals this. All right, so notice in number 1, those 4 factors multiplied together gives you this. So these are all factors of that. All right, so that's number 2. Okay, now let's look at number 3. So in number 3, we have this for number 3. So is a polynomial 5x minus 4 a factor of the polynomial 50x cubed plus 10x squared minus 35x minus 7? All right, so same process, long division. So we have 5x minus 4 divided into. Notice it's in descending order and there are no missing terms in either case. So I have 50x cubed plus 10x squared minus 35x minus 7. All right, so first divided by first. 50x cubed divided by 5x is 10x squared. 10x squared times 5x is 50x cubed. 10x squared times a negative 4 is a negative 40x squared. And then you subtract. 50x cubed minus itself is 0. 10x squared minus a negative 40x squared. So subtract negative 40x squared is adding 40x squared. So 10x squared plus 40x squared is 50x squared. Bring on the next term. And we do the process all over again. The degree here is more than the degree here. So 50x squared divided by 5x is 10x. 10x times 5x is 50x squared. 10x times negative 4 is a negative 40x. And then you subtract. 50x squared minus itself is 0. A negative 35x minus a negative 40x. So subtracting a negative 40x is adding 40x. So a negative 35x plus 40x is 5x. Bring on the next term. We can continue on because the degree here is 1, the degree here is 1. You stop when the degree of the remainder is less than the degree of the divisor. 5x divided by 5x is 1. 1 times 5x is 5x. 1 times negative 4 is a negative 4. And then we subtract. 5x minus 5x is 0. A negative 7 subtract a negative 4. So subtracting negative 4 means adding 4. So negative 7 plus 4 is a negative 3. So notice this is a remainder. You stop because the degree here, the degree of a constant is 0, and 0 is less than the degree here, which is 1. All right, so the remainder is not 0, right? So you're going to say this, since the remainder, so there's your answer. This is your work. This is your answer. Since the remainder is not 0, 5x minus 4 is not a factor of your dividend, which is 50x cubed plus 10x squared minus 35x minus 7. All right. Now, if you were to actually factor this as much as you can, number 3, it would look like this: 50x cubed plus 10x squared minus 35x minus 7. So over the rational numbers, this factors as 5x plus 1 times 10x squared minus 7. So notice that these two factors multiplied together gives you this. Now, I cannot factor this any further over the rational numbers. But notice in either case, 5x minus 4 is not one of those listed. Okay? So the question was, is 5x plus 1 a factor of this? Then the answer would be yes. You can see it here. And then you would do the work and you get it. And in that case, you would get a remainder of 0. Okay? All right, so that's the idea. Okay, number 4. All right, number 4. So is the polynomial x plus 3, a factor of the polynomial 2x cubed minus 4x plus 42? All right, so let's do the long division. So I have x plus 3 divided into. Now notice that I am missing a term, so I need that missing term, that 0 term. So I have 2x cubed plus 0x squared, minus 4x plus 42. Okay, first divided by first. 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. All right. Align your like terms. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times 3 is 6x squared. And then you subtract. 2x cubed minus itself is 0. 0x squared subtract 6x squared is a negative 6x squared. Write on the next term. Continue to process since the degree is not less, the degree of the denominator is not less than the degree of the divisor. Negative 6x squared divided by x is a negative 6x. Negative 6x times x is a negative 6x squared. Negative 6x times 3 is a negative 18x. And then you subtract. Negative 6x squared minus itself is 0. So remember, all these have to cancel out every time you do that iteration. Negative 4x subtract a negative 18x. So if you need to rewrite this, subtract a negative 18x as add 18x, then you do that. Negative 4x and 18x is 14x. Right on the next term. I can continue on because the degree here is 1, the degree here is 1. 14x divided by x is just 14. 14 times x is 14x. That's a 14 right here. 14 times 3 is 42. All right, and so if I subtract 14x, subtract 14x is 0. 42 subtract 42 is 0. So notice I do get a remainder of 0. So you're going to say this. So what that means is that this is a factor of this. So the answer, the way you're going to explain it, there's your work, there's your explanation. Since the remainder is 0, x plus 3 is a factor of this polynomial right here of 2x cubed minus 4x plus 42. All right, and that's what you do. Now, let me just kind of, again, like I did with the other three, let me just show you if you were to factor this over the rational numbers. 2x cubed minus 4x plus 42 over the rational numbers, I can factor this as 2 times x plus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 7. And over the rational numbers, I cannot factor this quadratic trinomial right here. So, but notice that this polynomial over the rationals, I have three factors: 2, x plus 3, and x squared minus 3x plus 7. And notice though, x plus 3 is one of those listed. Okay. All right. So that is the key to topic 23, part A, worksheet number 4.